Call the member for Wright.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I rise in my continuance opposition to the 64 amendments currently before the House which speak to Road Safety Remuneration Bill 2011. For in my electorate I have a number of transport operators and a number of quarries. So the predominant transport operations through the middle of my electorate are truck and dog operations who will be affected by these amendments before the House. In addition to that, the majority of my electorate is would be perceived as a rural precinct, taking small produce predominantly to markets, servicing the families and the mums and dads of Australia to keep fresh fruit and veggie on the table. And every centimetre of the travel involved in of that produce to market is done by transport and will be affected by these amendments and the legislation currently before the House. The argument put up by the government with reference to the bill is that of road safety. However, none of the 64 amendments before the House which we're currently debating, Mr Speaker, speak or provide any evidence whatsoever to prove causal link between the rates of pay and deaths on the road. In fact, the inquiry recently found that there was a declining, and members of the government have made the point in their presentations that the rates of deaths on the road are downward spiralling. In addition, with the magnificent work done by the government on their increase in road infrastructure, we should see further reductions in road deaths. In fact, Labor, the coalition supports a number of measures, including the committee's comments on. The committee also received evidence which supported an increased focus on road improvements, infrastructure and enforcement of existing laws and regulations to achieve safety improvements. It was repeatedly put to the committee that other measures would have be more valuable in terms of reducing the accidents rates. The coalition members supported that approach. So it's a long bow to come in and say that it's no. From the coalition, we do support measures that will reduce deaths on the roads, but we sincerely suggest that these measures are before us, the amendments before us, are not conducive of reaching those outcomes. One of the amendments, section 33.3, speaks to the participating hirer and the participating driver have conducted themselves in accordance with any code of conduct prescribed under section 33.3. So, Minister, Mr. Speaker, an unintended consequence of the amendment before the House is that if someone was to change the code of conduct, and it's good that we've been rejoined by it would be surplus. It would be indeed superior to the codes of conduct already in place by the peak bodies and industry groups, and some of those consist of the National Road Freighters Association, who by pure chance, Mr Speaker, are opposed to this measure. They're opposed to this measure and have put in their concerns in writing in their submissions to the committee. Who else was opposed to it? The Australian Logistics Council, an enormous voice for the transport sector. They're opposed to it, and they have their own codes of conduct. The Post Office Agents Association also saw no merit in the bill. The Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industries, they have their code of conduct, which will seek to be amended by section 33.3 of the aforementioned section. The Australian Trucking Association, they've got their own code of conduct. The Australian Industry Group, they've got their own code of conduct. All of these people are opposed to it. The National Road Transport Operators and the Independent Contractors of Australia. Mr Speaker, the list just goes on. It is overwhelming that if this government is fair dinkum about trying to assist Australian roads and save lives out on the highways of Australia, show some causal link, show some evidence of causal link between pay rates and deaths. And if you're serious about that is a cause, will do your part as a government in getting your hand out of the pockets of the transport industry by increasing their operating costs, by increasing their cost of operation, and let them get on and make a living.